All right. Good morning, and thank you all for making time for this update. We're all here on a beautiful day, as you can see, to talk about a storm because tomorrow and day after may not be the same. I'm Vic Bide, Director of the Mobility Department. I am joined here by the city leadership, including the mayor, the chiefs of police and fire, our chief of staff, and George with our stormwater group as well, and a few others. The purpose today, of course, is to give you an update on what the city is doing in response to before, during, and after the storm. Some key messages from some of our leadership about what to consider through this, and to reassure the community that the city is on it. We understand the risks. We hope the community does as well, and we'll take it from there. From mobility standpoint, the reason we're here in the South Tampa Peninsula is this is one of the areas where we see a lot of flooding. So George and our stormwater operations team focus on hotspots within the city to clean out our stormwater systems, to drain down the ponds so that they have additional storage capacity, to make sure our outfalls and our drainage systems are functioning as well as they can in response to the storm. And then once the storm has passed, we come back and make sure that we can assist with drainage. You'll hear from everyone today regarding the surge potential, which will impact our community and other risks as well. But at this time, I will hand it off to our leader, Mayor Castor.
Thank you, Vic. The majority of us have been through this drill. Those of us who were born and raised here in the city of Tampa have dealt with tropical storms and hurricanes our entire lives. But we have so many individuals that have just recently moved to the community. So what we ask of everyone, the long-timers and the newcomers, is to please pay attention to this storm and all of the others as well. We will keep you informed minute by minute. We ask you to text Tampa Ready to 888-777, and you will get updates on a regular basis as things are occurring here in the city of Tampa. And for our Spanish-speaking audience, if you text Tampa Lista to 888-777, those alerts will come out in Spanish. So we want everyone to stay aware of this tropical storm that soon will be a hurricane. We've all seen the cone, hopefully, and we are in that cone. It doesn't look at this point that it will be a direct hit, but these hurricanes, these tropical storms always change. So again, be aware and be prepared. You need to prepare yourself personally. We are taking steps on every front to keep our city safe, to keep all of our residents safe, but there's a level of responsibility as well. So make sure that you know the flood zones that you're in. Know that if you need to evacuate your home, how you're going to take care of your home, your family, your pets. Please be aware. We have shelters that are opening. We have sandbags, as was mentioned, at the 3 locations that we always provide sandbags for our community. One of the things, we've seen a lot of unprecedented rain events in our community recently, and we started having press conferences prior to storms so that we could ensure that our residents and business owners are aware of what's coming their way. Our stormwater team has done an amazing job with the major projects that they've done, including down here in South Tampa, throughout the city, cleaning out the ditches prior to Hurricane Debbie. 84 tons of debris were taken out of those ditches. And as Vic just said, following this particular storm, they will go back through and make sure that all of those systems are open. But what we need the community to understand too is that these tropical storms and hurricanes usually come right about the time that we are saturated to the max. And that's the event now. You know, we have had those unprecedented rain events where we've gotten 4 or 5 inches of rain in an hour. There is no stormwater system that can expel that amount of water in less than 2 hours. So we need everybody to understand that. Predictions now is that this is not going to be as much of a rain event because it's going to move very quickly, but the storm surge is expected to be very high, and Chief Tripp will talk about that in a moment. But again, please be aware, if evacuation orders are given, you have to be prepared to get out of those particular flood zones. Again, we always say, hide from the wind, run from the water. So make sure that your residence is prepared, your family's prepared. We're doing just a myriad of different tasks each and every day. We have 3 briefings a day on these storms and hurricanes. We're letting water out of the reservoir at the dam to make sure that homes aren't flooded on the other side of that. As you've heard Vic Bide say, we're making sure all of our drains are clean and ready to accept that rain. We're working with the storm bags. We will send, when the evacuation, if evacuation notices are given, the officers literally go door to door, making sure that people are out in those high-risk locations. We are doing all that we can to keep everyone safe. We need the community to pay attention, understand what this storm is doing minute by minute, and heed the warnings so that you and your family can be safe as well. Now I'm going to bring up Mirabel Garrett, and she is going to try to express what I just said in Spanish. Thank you, Mirabel.
Thank you, Mayor Castor. Buenos días, Maribel Garrett, Enlace Hispano para la ciudad de Tampa. Aquí estamos nuevamente en una temporada de huracanes, esperando el posible impacto de una nueva tormenta. Queremos recordarle a todos nuestros residentes que nosotros nos preparamos para esto durante todo el año, pero justo cuando se espera que haya un impacto, hacemos más para asegurarnos de que nuestra comunidad esté segura. El Departamento de Acueductos y Alcantarillados ha estado trabajando fuertemente, asegurándose de que todos los alcantarillados estén limpios para tratar de prevenir inundaciones, pero como en todo tipo de tormenta, las inundaciones son impredecibles, tanto así como lo son la ruta que estas tormentas pueden tener. Así que es importante que nuestros residentes se mantengan informados, que estén pendientes a los medios de comunicación para recibir mensajes de texto directamente a sus teléfonos en español. Envíen el mensaje Tampa Lista al número 888-777. Repito, 888-777, Tampa Lista. Además de eso, pueden visitar la página tampa.gov/hurricanes. Ahí van a tener información específica sobre qué cosas deben tener para prepararse, para las familias prepararse, tener sus kits de emergencia, sus medicamentos, todas esas cosas que son necesarias para mantenerse seguros durante una tormenta. Tenemos 3 centros de distribución de arena y toda la información sobre las direcciones y esos 3 centros, que son los centros que usualmente utilizamos todos los años, ya están abiertos, así que si necesitan sacos o bolsos de arena, pueden ir a estos centros para recibir la información. Repito, importante, para recibir mensajes de texto al 888-777 Tampa Lista, o visiten la página tampa.gov/hurricanes. And now I would like to turn it over to Chief Tripp. Yes. Sí, claro, rapidito, los suelos, como ya saben, hemos recibido muchísima lluvia en las últimas semanas, así que es importante que estemos al pendiente. Si la tormenta viene y se acerca un poco más a nosotros, vamos a recibir obviamente mucha lluvia, así que es importante que se mantengan seguros, que si hay inundaciones, no guíen por las áreas inundadas, que si tienen vehículos eléctricos y el vehículo como tal está en agua estancada, no lo traten de prender. Es peligroso, así que por favor eviten todas esas cosas y volvemos. Manténganse alejados de aguas estancadas, de inundaciones. Chief Tripp.
Hi, Chief Tripp here, Emergency Manager for the City of Tampa. As the Mayor has stated, we have prepared since June 1st to make sure that our community is very aware of what's going on. Over the last 24 hours, we have been in communication with the National Weather Service, who have given us up-to-date information concerning this potential tropical cyclone number 9. Eventually, that's going to turn into a hurricane. So from the weather briefing, we have also realized that Hillsborough County is currently, including the city of Tampa, is currently in a hurricane watch warning, as well as a storm surge warning, as well as flooding warning. So usually it's the difference between a watch and a warning. With the warning, chances are there's something that's going to happen. When we talk about the surge, they are looking at up to 9 feet. Not sure if Tampa will get all of that, but that is what they're predicting from this storm that's coming through. We know that this storm would be later identified as a hurricane. They don't have what level of a category this hurricane will be, but it could be up to a category 3 or 4, which could bring winds up to 150 miles per hour. With that said, as we continue to prepare our community, we want to make sure that everyone is familiar with their evacuation plan. Make sure you understand the family, make sure you get your family involved, and make sure your family is safe. Visit tampa.gov/evacuation zone to identify your evacuation area, as well as some shelters that may be in the area. Make sure you check on your neighbor. As I stated before, sometimes we need assistance. We want our community to make sure we look out for one another. Remember, when the weather becomes severe, it will be very hard for emergency services to come out and respond. So make sure you pay attention and listen to all the warnings that come in your area. As we talk about emergency kits, make sure that you continue to have your emergency kit that everyone prepared back in June, and all you need to do is update with all your important information, food, batteries, and make sure you take care of those pets. Let's talk about the dangers of electric vehicles. We know they have the lithium-ion batteries, and that has been a change in technology where it has caused a potential hazard to a lot of vehicles that will involve fires. If you have an electrical vehicle, do not drive it through the water, and make sure that it definitely is checked out before you continue to use that after the storm. As I stated, Tampa Fire Rescue continue to train throughout the whole year throughout any hazards that Tampa may become involved with, including hurricanes. We continue to communicate with local and state agencies to make sure that we have the latest update and prepare for our community. If power is out in your area and you have to use a generator, make sure you follow directions on the generator. Make sure you use a well-ventilated space. Do not operate the generator in your home, and make sure that you only plug in the necessary items that you need to plug into that generator. Do not overload the generator. And once again, a few weeks ago, we had a rain that came through, and as the mayor talked about, within 1 hour, the amount of rain that we receive. Don't take this storm lightly. Make sure you plan. It's better to be proactive than reactive. And just know that Tampa Fire Rescue, the City of Tampa, is here to assist whatever you can. You can continue to receive these updated alerts as you reach out to 888-777 and type one word, Tampa Ready, to receive all the updated information. With that, I'll turn it over to the Police Chief, Lee Burkhall.
Good morning. You've heard a reoccurring theme here, and that theme is to be prepared, to go through your plans and ensure that you're prepared. Your Tampa Police Department is prepared. We go through training, we have experience with this, we have high water vehicles, all of that is in place. The question is, are you in place? Are all your plans ready to go? We need everybody's cooperation. There's 1,000 well-trained, best police officers in the nation. There's 400,000 residents in Tampa, and we need everybody to do their part. Also, if you have special needs and you haven't signed up for our special needs registry, please reach out to us and let us know. We have days. We always want to hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Any jog in that shift in that traffic could change the storm track tremendously. So please pay attention to your plans, pay attention to the weather, get the alerts from the city, and know that your Tampa Police Department is here for you. Thank you.
Questions? Anybody have any questions? Yes. The last thing we want to do is water rescues. And so we need people, if we give the order to evacuate, we need individuals to evacuate. Our police department has high water vehicles, but we don't want to use those to go in and rescue someone who should have evacuated when they were given that order. Again, we have a lot of newcomers to our city, and you have to understand that any battle with Mother Nature wins. And so you have to understand how quickly things can happen during a storm, so you don't want to wait to see how bad it gets before you heed the warnings. Please, it's imperative. Our officers have a lot to do, and they shouldn't be putting themselves in harm's way to go and rescue someone that should have evacuated. And so pay attention to those warnings. We have seen the flooding with these unprecedented rain events that we've had. We may see that again, but the storm surge is really, if that storm surge is pulled into the bay, that happens very quickly. And we've seen deaths in other locations based on individuals' choice not to pay attention to warnings and then not have the time to get out from under deadly circumstances. So it's critically important. But again, the storm surge in this instance, if it is anywhere from 6 to 9 feet, and it's not just as the storm goes through, we're looking at a high tide Thursday evening as well. So that's probably going to be the highest point of the storm surge. Now, I'm no meteorologist, so make sure you pay attention to Tampa Ready, Tampa Lista, and tampagov.net/hurricane. They're cleared out. They go through before storm season starts in June to make sure that all of our drains are in best working condition. And then after the storms go back through to see if any debris has fallen into there. So they're constantly evaluating our drains and making sure that they are prepared to do their part. But again, even the best stormwater systems like ours in the nation can't handle these unprecedented rain events. It takes 2 hours to be able to drain and expel that water out to other locations. So it's important. Also a warning too, if you're sitting there in your car, the street's flooded out, and you're thinking to yourself, should I or should I not? Should I not is the best way to go. Because you get down into a flooded street, your car stops, you've now ruined your car, that engine. So don't take that chance. If you see standing water, don't walk through it, don't drive through it, choose another path. It's very, very important. You want to talk any more about the stormwater?
Sure.
Do you have any? Going to close on Thursday. City of Tampa offices will be closed on Thursday, and I think you'll find that throughout the region. And also, just to let everyone know, we work so well together in the Tampa Bay region. Not only the cities with the counties, but with the state, with the federal authorities, and with all of the private organizations and public organizations as well.
Do you know if and when schools might be closing tomorrow or Thursday?
That we'll have to hear from the superintendent, but I would say count on Thursday. Tomorrow, we're expected to start feeling the impacts of this hurricane by that time, late Wednesday evening. They predict around 10 o'clock right now. You're welcome.
Have there been any flood mitigation projects in this area recently?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, thank you for that. To the first question about storm readiness and stormwater readiness. So there are three main components to a stormwater system. One is the conveyance, so that's ditches, that's pipes, but that's also our streets. That's how the stormwater moves to a system. We have storage, which is our ponds, and then we've got outfalls where they ultimately end up. So first, I'd like to start by saying that given the amount of rain that we're expecting, we do anticipate flooding. The mayor stated this, the amount of rain that we expect will inundate and overwhelm our stormwater systems. However, George and our team, and he's going to be mic'd up later, so if you wanted additional information, he can give you specifics. But they'll be working on first the conveyance piece of it. So here we're working on ditches. They're looking at the low spots within the city where typically we would expect most of the flooding to occur. Make sure the pipes are clean, make sure the outfalls are clean to the extent we can. And then we've got monitoring systems across different ditches like the Palmyra ditch and all of that. So we'll be looking at that as well. When it comes to storage and ponds, which is what holds a lot of stormwater as well, we typically pump them down as much as we can. I say as much as we can because some of these ponds have fish in them and they're placed there for vegetation control, things like that. But that creates more storage for the floodwaters as well, or the stormwater. And then finally, after the storm, and even through the storm, until we experience 35 miles an hour or higher gusts, that's when we stop working in the field. And that's true for many services across the board. It's a best practice. After the storm, we will go out and hit all of the hot spots and all of the concerns that may have come in about flooding as well. So it's both proactive and reactive after the storm. As far as major infrastructure projects are concerned, absolutely. In fact, the South Tampa Peninsula, where we are here, is part of the Lower Peninsula series of projects. And by next year, we should be wrapping up a very major project that impacts this overall area and then creates a large stormwater pond and preserves some natural habitat at the MacDill 48 site. And from there, we've got outfalls into Hillsborough Bay as well. There's more information on that if you go to lpstormwater.com. That's the project's website. It'll give you all kinds of information. But if you also look at the city's website for tampa.gov/stormwater, you'll find stormwater quarterly reports that we send to council, and that shows all of our major stormwater projects as well. This is a need, and we'll need many more projects going forward.
Yeah. What is the best way citizens can expect to protect their homes from the excess stormwater?
I'll let the fire chief speak to this as well. But the main thing is first to understand what evacuation zone you are in, to have a plan to secure your critical documents and things like that. We do have sandbags that the city is going to be making available. In fact, from 8 a.m. to noon, they were only servicing people with special needs and access needs and things like that, and seniors. But starting noon at several parks, we're going to be handing out sandbags as well. So you've got sandbags available to you also. There are other measures you can take, like making sure you've got alternate power sources, store up on basics like food and water, things like that. But by all means, the first thing you should be doing is monitoring whether you're in an evacuation zone and heed that recommendation when it comes through to evacuate. I do not. Yeah.
So just to sum it up, Vic, I'm hiring you as a firefighter because he did a great job, and that's pretty much what you need to do to prepare a home. And the biggest thing, like he said, is to make sure you identify what evacuation zone you're in. So currently the sandbags are being distributed from L. Barnes, which is in East Tampa. We have the Himes Complex, which is in South Tampa, and we have Al Lopez, which is in the northern Tampa West area. So those are the three locations where sandbags for the city of Tampa is being distributed. And as he stated, from 8 to 12, it would be for senior citizen and ADA, and from 12 to 7 p.m. tonight, and again tomorrow morning from 7 up until 7 p.m. unless the weather predicts otherwise.
I know we talked about stormwater, but are any preparations being made for wastewater? Where will it go?
Yes, we have very intricate. As I said, there are a myriad of steps that we take before a hurricane gets here, and many of those are years in advance. And we have in our stormwater areas, we have pumps that will pump that through. Usually, wastewater in most cases is gravity fed, but we have storms out at our pumps out at our wastewater treatment plant in the port, and we also have those in the flood-prone areas. And so we do all that we can to avoid any overflows with wastewater. All right, everybody good? Thank you all very much. We appreciate it.